Hello, I hope you're having a lovely day today. I have my cold brew made. It's always decaf. I try to keep it decaf because I don't really need the caffeine. I just like the taste of coffee. So rather than do the caffeine, I just do the decaf cold brew. And there's some iffy stuff around decaf. The process of it, is it actually very healthy? But one of the better ways to decaffeinate a coffee bean is the Swiss water method or something like that. And so I just make sure I get organic Swiss water processed, that's what it's called, coffee beans. And it's very simple making cold brew, and it is delicious. I will have that link of the recipe below. You may hear the mower outside. Scott is mowing. We are so excited we got a new mower so that way we could mulch up our leaves. We were laying them all down in our beds and we were like, this is just not gonna work. The leaves are not crunched up enough. So we needed to get a new mower anyways, and so we wanted to get one with the bag on it. That way we could easily mulch up the leaves ourselves, put it back down. Yeah, I'll do a whole video on our garden process for those interested. This video is a fun little thrift haul and antique haul, and I never shared with you my favorite thing that I brought back from South Africa. I'll share that with you as well. I wanted to start the video with a definition. I love definitions. I love looking up what words mean. I like seeing how words have changed over time. I collect old dictionaries, but the definition I want to read to you today is cottagecore. You may have heard that before. It is definitely a Pinterest word or aesthetic, and I love it. I love the cottagecore style, inspiration. I think it is so beautiful. And so the definition of cottagecore is an aesthetic that celebrates simple living, particularly in the countryside. It encourages a lifestyle rooted in traditional skills like baking bread, gardening, and sewing your own clothes. And I think that is so beautiful. What a beautiful thing to be celebrated. And I think it's really cool that there are so many women who are realizing or waking up to the boss babe hustle culture lie of the most important work is outside of the home, and how so many of us are coming back to our roots of actually home is a beautiful place to be. There's an abundance of work to be done. We can build our home economies. We can be good stewards of the resources that God has given us. We don't have to live in this busy, exhaustive lifestyle that culture wants us to. We actually can really simplify our life, embrace the things that we have, steward what we have. I actually got a comment recently about, I did a reel on my Instagram. If you didn't know, I am back on Instagram. That is a whole different topic of why I felt compelled to get back on Instagram, which maybe I'll do another video on that in the future. So I made that post saying I think it's cool that these traditional skills are coming back into positive vision on social media. So when I posted that, someone commented and said, well, I think the idea behind it is that Christian women are comparing themselves to other Christian women online, and that they may not have the perfect kitchen towel without stains, or they may only have metal and plastic bowls, or they may have an outdated kitchen, and then they see all of these other ladies on social media with the opposite, and it makes them feel bad. And I was like, well, I think that's a totally different subject altogether. I have no issues with putting out a positive vision for the home, and I touch on this a lot with my videos of the whole comparison thing and how we cannot be comparing ourselves to other people on social media because we have no idea their journey or their values. Some people really value having an updated home with all the newest technologies, but they are not buying good quality food. They are not buying locally. They're buying cheap China junk stuff from Amazon because they're spending more money on other things. So we can compare ourselves with other people online because everybody has different values, and what you value, that is what you're going to put your money towards. So in order to not fall into the comparison trap, you have to, again, come back to what do we value? What is our vision for our family? What is the direction that we're going? Sit down with your husband and actually figure this out. What is our priority? Where are we going? Because then you're not going to be concerned with an outdated kitchen because you are spending money on things that are valuable to you. I don't have an updated kitchen, but having an outdated kitchen doesn't stop me from being a valuable homemaker to my husband. I can still cook food from scratch. I can still make stuff, clean the kitchen, do all the things with an outdated kitchen and still find contentment and make it as beautiful as I can with the resources that I have. Same with the kitchen towels. She said some women have stained kitchen towels. I'm pretty sure every single one of my kitchen towels have stains on it, but I've put my kitchen towels, I figured out a way to organize them in my drawer. I did this at my last house because at our last house, we had no kitchen space, no pantry space, no drawer space. So I really had to figure out how to organize in ways that suits a space that doesn't have much space. And so I fold my towels in a certain way. So my towels may be stained, but the drawer is beautiful. And it always brings me joy folding my towels and putting them in my kitchen drawer. So when I open them up, they're all lined up so nicely. It's about making your home a place that brings joy to you, even if you don't have the most updated things. I'm saying this whole story to bring it back to the thrifting thing. So the last comment was some women may only have plastic or metal bowls. Again, this is a vision thing, and everyone has to start somewhere. Some people may have plastic and metal bowls and they don't care. But if someone actually does care of, man, I do not want these plastic and metal bowls. I would love to upgrade to a glass bowl. That is not that challenging in America. We have an abundance of items at our fingertips, and we have thrift stores, antique stores, yard sales, auctions at our fingertips. And the thing that I always see the most of all the time is glassware. Nobody wants glassware. Nearly all of my bowls are thrifted, and I've never paid more than $5 for them. Even my pretty, what do you call them? Like clay ceramic vintage bowls. I didn't pay more than $5 for them individually. So if that is a value of yours, if you want to get nicer, newer bowls, there is a way for that to happen without you spending a lot of money. You can go thrift shopping to a yard sale and you'll certainly find bowls. All of that to bring it back to how much fun it is for me to go thrift shopping because I never spend a lot of money. I usually have 3 things that I keep in mind when I'm thrift shopping. I look for functionality. Is this something that's useful to me? Is it beautiful? Is it something that I feel really makes me happy because I think it's pretty? And or is it meaningful? So there are some things that bring back that nostalgic feeling for me, whether it reminds me of memories of my childhood or my family or our life in South Africa and Scott's childhood and things that remind me of our time there. Anytime that there's this nostalgic feeling about something, I like bringing those items into our home because I like having meaningful things in our home. So those are the 3 things I'm keeping in mind when I am going looking for secondhand items. So let's get to it. Hopefully that wasn't too long of a rabbit trail. I tend to go on rabbit trails with my videos. The first thing that I found was this $3 double boiler. It is the Pyrex brand. When I saw this, I could not believe it was $3. I was so excited. I've already used it. I made chocolate mousse the other day, and you have to melt down the coconut oil or butter. Usually I use butter, but I didn't have butter on hand, so I used coconut oil and chocolate. So $3 for this. That same thrift shop, I got this basket. You'll notice a trend. There's a lot of glass, wicker, and wood. I think that's pretty much everything besides books in this haul. So this basket, I'm pretty sure is a bicycle basket, and this was $1. Again, I was so excited about this. It was actually filled with all types of fabric rolls, so I didn't know for sure if it was for sale. So then I asked the lady because I didn't see a price on it, and she was like, it's $1. I thought this would be a really nice wall hanging basket. I'm always looking for wall hanging baskets because I think they're so useful, and this one is huge. Another wall hanging basket that I got for $1. I thought it was adorable, and it is a smaller size. My laundry room is always where things get dumped. It's our entryway into our house. There is no room. The only space there is in there is for the washer and dryer, and then we have a shelving area where I put our shoes and the laundry soap stuff. And so I was thinking I always have have my garden gloves, and sometimes I'll leave them outside, but then it rains and they get rained on. So I was thinking I need to hang this somewhere in there. That way my garden gloves and my Sharpies, I can always put them right in here right when they come in, because they always end up on my dryer, and then dirt gets all over my dryer and I always find myself having to clean it. Continuing on with the baskets, this is another basket I got. This one was 50 cents. I've had a lot of these baskets in the past and they always break, but for 50 cents I was like, I'm gonna get it. This is so useful, and I'm pretty hard on my garden baskets. They just get used very well, and so I'm thinking about using this as a garden basket for herbs and stuff when summer comes. But this type of basket is small enough and thin enough to be an organizing basket, so I might do that as well. We'll see. And then there was these little mini baskets of the same one. So they were on this wire, and when I saw they were 50 cents, and I was so excited. Oh, one of the handles just fell off. This one's actually broken too, but even with that can easily be hot glued back on. So when I saw this, I immediately thought of Christmas garland. I want to make a garland where I want to make two different garlands, and maybe I'll combine them, but I don't think they would go well together. But this reminded me of a Christmas garland because I thought I could change out these bows. These bows could be Christmassy, but I think they look more summer picnicky at the moment, so I think I would change those out to more of a Christmas style ribbon and then make a garland with this. My other idea for a Christmas garland that I want to work on this year, so that way by the time Christmas comes around next year, I will have it done, is either knitted or crocheted little mittens and stockings. Or my mom and I went to a Christmas shop this past Christmas season, and they had sewed these little tiny stockings out of cotton fabric, and it was like hand stitched, and then they tea bag dyed them to make them look vintage, and then they stitched words in them like hope, joy, believe, and they were so cute. And my mom bought me one so I could have a pattern of it to know how it looks, and then I could make my own and either make a Christmas tree garland or a garland for our hutch. Those are the type of things that I do want to work on in the evenings this year. That way I have them done by the time Christmas comes around, because always when fall comes, Christmas happens so fast, and then the things that I had wanted to do just never ends up happening. So I need to make those things a priority throughout the year. Okay, at the same thrift shop, there were these two glass cups. They were $2 each. And again, with the whole nostalgia thing, this reminded me of my parents. My mom always has the cutest breakfast cups, and this reminded me of them. So they are the brand Braswell's, which I've never heard of, but they stack on top of each other. So it's perfect storage as well. It's very functional, and I just thought they were so pretty. They feel nice to hold on to. I am interrupting this portion of the video. I just poured my cold brew in this cutesy cup, and I was looking up what is Braswell's, and it is a jam company, which then really confused me. They've been around since 1946, and I was like, this does not look like a jelly jar. So then I typed in Braswell's cups, and it is a jelly jar. Look at that. How amazing. So these are jelly jars, but I think they're adorable cups. What a neat way to package your jelly. And next up, this one fell into the functional and meaningful category. This is a vintage manual press cookie machine. My grandma made press cookies, my mom makes them, and my mom has an automatic machine or a electric machine that you do it. And then when I saw this, I was so excited. I was on the fence about getting it because it is obviously aluminum. And I was like, I try to avoid aluminum as much as possible. But you just put the dough in here. So it's not like the dough will stay in here for an extended amount of time touching the aluminum. It's just, this is the machine to press the dough. I've never seen how a manual press cookie machine works, so I actually don't fully know how this works, but it came with a ton of the different designs. So the Christmas tree, a butterfly, a cross or an X, we'll call it a cross, a star, there's a camel, a dog, and then there's all these different style ones, which I've never seen before, so I'm not actually sure how any of these would be used. Then it also came with a manual. Sometimes when you get vintage kitchen tools, you get home and you go to clean them and you see old food in the crevices. Well, this, I was so pleasantly surprised. It was as clean can be. I still cleaned it myself very well, but it was in such good condition, and even the manual that's with it is in perfect condition. So there's recipes in it for each of the different styles. So I'm very excited about this. I've actually never made press cookies myself, so this will be an opportunity for me to actually learn how to make them. $2.50, I thought that was fun. This is my favorite thrift shop to get books because they're usually from 50 cents to $1. This one was $2, but it's a newer book. It's the Marie Kondo book. If you don't recognize the name, she is the Does It Bring You Joy cleaning organization lady. So I am very excited about going through her book. I am on the never-ending journey of trying to create systems in our home, create organizational things. I think her book will be very helpful. This was $2. Another book I got was this fun book. It's called Granny's Recipes, Remedies, and Helpful Hints. This book was $1, and it's kind of hilarious. It's not the most practical of books because it's very much old school style. So the language is different. The author is very clear at the beginning. She said, I wanted this to feel like your grandma or great grandma's tips. And she said, most of our grandmas cooked or made things from their intuition, and they didn't have recipes. They didn't create recipes because they based things off of their senses, their smell, their taste. So that's what she wanted this book to feel like. And I was thinking, I think that skill has been a little bit lost with the millennial and younger generation. I think we're getting back to it, but as far as intuition when it comes to recipes or home remedies, I do feel like we are very much by the books of what is the measurement for this, how do you do this, and you need the step-by-step instead of what our grandparents, they just kind of did it. I think this book is fun. It's not one that I would probably repeat a lot of the things out of it. One, because again, there's a language barrier. There's some ingredients that I don't even know what they are, and when I typed them in on Google, that nothing came up. So I don't even know how to figure out what that means, and I can't even think of what recipe I looked at. When I got home from this thrift store, I sat out in the car for an hour looking through the pages of this book because I found it so interesting. So it's very interesting. It's a book that I'll keep because I think it's so fun and fascinating. It's kitchen recipes, desserts, and then she goes into like if there's accidents or injuries, family physician, cosmetics, household hints, medicines for horses, everything you could imagine for your home. It's in here. It's just hard to translate to today's lifestyle, I guess. Another book I got for 50 cents is this book, Work Less, Achieve More, and it's a pocketbook on productivity. I've been skimming this a little bit each morning, and I find it very helpful. So it's a very simplistic book. Part 1, eliminate distractions, and then he has one little paragraph and a theme. So focus on one thing until you're done, and then he talks about it. 2, moderate your screen time, and then he talks about it. 3, resist social media FOMO. So that's what this whole book was. I thought it was interesting. And then there was this book, Sing by Keith and Kristen Getty. I didn't even know that they wrote a book on worship. So we sing a lot of their songs at church. I love their music. It is so wholesome and biblical and beautiful. If you've not heard of them, I highly suggest looking them up. But yeah, it's a book on worship, which I thought was very interesting. Now we're going to switch over to the antique shop that I went to, and I found this book at the antique shop. It was $3, and it's kind of a day-by-day book. So like each day of the year, there is a thought from this lady, and I have really enjoyed this. I started from the very beginning because that's what she recommends. Also at this antique store, there was a booth where everything was 50% off, and of course the thing that I found didn't have a price on it, so they had to call the owner and ask, and part of me thinks because they called and asked, they raised the price a little bit, because I was hoping they would say $20 and I would pay $10. They said $30 and I paid $15, but this is something I've been looking for years now. So it is this butcher block bowl that you cut herbs in. This may look like the most random thing. It actually came with this little guy, but I have had this for over 2 years, this little kitchen tool that I've sharpened, and I've never used it. I tried looking up what it's used for. I guess it could be used for dough. I don't know. There's not a lot of stuff out there. But in my mind, I was thinking of something like this and cutting my herbs in it. And I thought I could use this in one of my wood bowls. But because this is a blade, I don't want to cut lines into any of my wooden bowls. So I've never done that. And then when I found this, I was like, this is it. So I went ahead and I got it. And it did come with this. These obviously did not come together at all. The blade doesn't even match the curve of the bowl, but this little guy's blade matches perfect with the curve of the bowl. They were made for each other. So I just need to clean this wood, olive oil it, polish it, make it look very nice and pretty again, and I now have my herb cutter for herb season, which I'm so excited about. We're on to my favorite items of probably anything that I've gotten recently. When we were in South Africa, we go to an auction when we're there. We try to find things for our Airbnbs, and usually we end up getting glassware for them because things break. Airbnbs go through glassware dishes all the time, so we go to auctions for that. Again, go to auctions for glassware because there's always glass. For some reason, that's something that people just don't want. So we're at this auction and I see these wooden bowls in a pile, and I got so excited because I know in America how expensive these go for. And so I said to Scott, I am willing to go very high to get those bowls. And there were other baskets in with this lot, but my main focus were these bowls. So we ended up getting this for $12 for all of them, for these bowls and the baskets, which I'll show you in a second. But let me show you how beautiful they are. So this is the smallest one of the group. It is hand-turned, handmade. All of them have this little symbol at the bottom. I'm assuming it's either like a catering company or a hotel's name on it. So all I need to do is sand that off because it's kind of rough anyways. Then I also want to clean these and polish them really well. This one does have a little bit of a crack in it, but it's still so beautiful. The next size is the deepest one of all of them. I mean, this is how huge they are. They are massive. I don't know if you can tell how big they are on this video, but also same thing, beautiful hand turned. And these big bowls, when I looked online, they sell from between $400 to $600 brand new. And then this is the last one, the biggest one of them all. It's not the deepest. This is the size difference. You can see this one's a little bit deeper, but this one's also so pretty. Also needs to be sanded at the bottom. Was so pumped about these. We got them home to our house in South Africa after the auction, and then I had the thought of, how am I going to get these back to America in my suitcase because they are massive. But we had to buy an extra suitcase anyways because we had a lot of stuff. Even though these are very heavy, we were still under our weight limit for all 3 of our suitcases. And then the 2 other baskets that were in with those wood bowls that came with it were these 2. So this was included in the $12. I just noticed that these have 2 different patterns. This whole time I thought that they were identical, but they're different. Very cute. And then this one, which is a lot bigger. So brought all of those home too. And that is everything from my most recent thrift hauls and my cottagecore inspiration home decoration. I hope that you've liked this video. I bless you. I bless the work of your hands and the rest of your day.